very soft. So a bit too softer than I usually.
Do you have to be quite firm with it,
Yeah.
even when it's soft?
Yeah. I mean, what I'm saying is that at some, well, I'll show you what I do if it gets too soft.
Like you're pulling it up and then pushing it down.
Yeah. And then putting it up.
But why do you have to push it down and then?
Oh, it's just compressing the clay. It makes well, it gets rid of any air bubbles that might be in there, but also it just makes a firmer, a better pot, basically.
And why do you not want there to be air bubbles in it?
Because the air bubbles might explode in the firing. And not only destroy this pot but other pots alongside it. So.
And how do you know when you've pushed it down and pulled up enough?
It's just experience. You just feel it. It's a bit like baking bread, I suppose. When you're kneading it, you know you've kneaded it enough.
How much does the clay tell you what to do, and how much do you tell it what
It's
to
a
do?
pretty good dialogue goes on between the two. But now you see, because I'm feeling that this is quite soft, I might have to. Yeah, I definitely do have to. Because you see, because it's soft now, it's beginning to sort of slump a bit.
Yeah. Hot.
It's still quite soft.
Does that mean you need to reheat it again?
I might do, but it's probably okay.
What else could you do?
Well, that's all else I could do.
And do you ever have to break the pot down and start it again?
Yeah, and well, if this was to collapse now, I would just destroy it and put it back in my. I've got a machine that recycles clay.
Yeah. And then reuse
And
the
then, but then you have to leave it for a couple of months before, ideally, before reusing it, because you need to let the clay rest. You know, if you were to try and rethrow it straight away, it would be too short, and it just wouldn't make a good pot. So that's the sort of basic. And so they will eventually be that sort of shape up there, the top. So tomorrow or the next day, when it's dried out to what's called leather hard, you then use these tools here, the turning tools, and it's rather like a lathe with woodworkers. You turn away to get the ultimate shape, because you see here it's all quite thick now, but that needs it to support especially as it's quite soft clay. So that all has to be turned away when it's leather hard, and then you get your foot shape and all that. So I mean, the initial making is relatively quick, but then it's the processes that follow.
And after you've turned it and
Then so these have all been turned and they're now drying.
for how long?
Until absolutely all moist. It depends on the weather, but I mean, those have been there for a week, so they'll be all right. So I can fire those.
Pre-fire them. And
So that's the called the bisque glaze, the bisque firing. I mean, and then you can glaze them, and then refire to 1280 degrees, which is pretty
for
hot.
how long?
About 12 hours. And then it takes 2 days to cool down
Before you can open the fire.
before you
The
can
kiln.
open the kiln. And you can't just put a pot in a kiln. You have to have a full packing, because that, you know, it gets a good firing. Then the glazes don't react well, you know,
On their
if
own.
there aren't enough
They have to do
around
with
them.
other pots.
Yes, yes.
Surrounded but not packed in.
They can't touch. Very COVID. They can't touch because obviously as the glaze melts and formulates itself into a sort of glass-like substance, you know, if they're touching, they'll fuse together. So, yeah.
So how long from start to finish to make a pot?
Well, you can't have
Or a
a sit
batch
because
of
you're
pots.
actually making a kiln load of pots,
Mhm.
and so it depends on what
What you're making.
what I'm making in production. Yeah, but you know, when I get orders, I say 8 weeks.
So sometimes one pot's readiness depends on a lot of other
All
pots.
the other
readiness.
pots ready. Yeah.
Thanks.
I mean, these here will pretty much make up a small bisque firing, but I'll be making some more next week to join them.
Thanks.
Okay.